This episode, we meet with David Melamed. He's the CTO and co-founder of JIT. We're going to be deep diving into David's career in security, getting insights into JIT, and talk a little bit more about how crucial it is to stay modern as a startup in arguably a very fast-paced industry and how to do it well. David, pleasure to have you on. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't you start off and maybe give us a quick intro to yourself?
Sure, pleasure to be here as well. Sure. I'm David Melamed, co-founder and CTO at JIT. I was born in France. I have a PhD in bioinformatics. Then I moved to Israel. This is where I live right now. I have a wife and 4 kids. I've been in the engineering field my whole life. Worked in companies like MyHeritage. Been a CTO in a small startup for a couple of months, and then about a decade ago, stumbled upon the cybersecurity field. I started to work in a company called CloudLock in the Caspi field that was acquired a few years afterward by Cisco, and this is where I spent a couple of years leading some strategic initiatives in network security. After that, I actually decided that corporate was great, but something that was even closer to my heart is to be an entrepreneur. And so I decided, together with 4 other co-founders, to start JIT. Beside that, I'm very much into communities. I'm an AWS community builder. I'm also the OWASP co-leader of a project called Serverless Top 10, so very much in the serverless field. And I've been talking in many conferences, both locally and internationally.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the intro. And you briefly touched base on it to start with there, David, but you actually have a really interesting avenue for your career in security, because you started your career with a PhD in bioinformatics, working in the biospace. You've obviously been in security for kind of over a decade now, but an interesting transition. And I think it'd be really kind of, interesting to deep dive into how did you kind of go through that transformation? How did you enter the world of security from working in the world of bio?
Well, let's put it like that. I'm a very curious guy by nature. And so my whole studies in university, I always tried to do things that were interesting, including the PhD in bioinformatics. I never studied computer science, and actually just one day picked a book. This was my kind of a passion on the side, and decided just to combine my regular studies. I have a degree in biophysical chemistry, and started to combine that with computer science, and this is where I got to bioinformatics. And then regularly, I started to progressively, I started to actually get more into programming, and I went to being an engineer, backend engineer. Suddenly, when I was a CTO, I actually learned about DevOps, front end, and so I came to be a full stack. And then by chance, actually, I stumbled upon cybersecurity. I had a friend that was working on MyHeritage who talked to me about his amazing startup that he was working in, CloudLock. And this is where I discovered cybersecurity, which actually is a pretty big thing in Israel. So it's really by chance. It was interesting. I was curious, and this is how things started.
And I think it's quite funny. Some people really actively get into cybersecurity because they'll kind of study a computer science degree or anything like that. They'll do a cybersecurity master's. I think there's a huge percentage of people that fall into the industry, and it's often through network or just some circumstance, or you're working kind of on a help desk, and then next thing you know, you're kind of falling down the pathway of, there's all these problems. How do I solve them? But I think actually what's really interesting to discuss today is obviously the company that you founded just over 4 years ago, and that's JIT, because I think, firstly, we need to, I suppose, address the unbelievable seed round that you guys managed to secure after only being in business for about a year. And I think it's a really fast-paced world out there. It's hard to make noise when it's well, or at least stand out from the crowd when it's such a noisy place to be. maybe talk to us a little bit about what the start of that journey looks like, how you guys potentially secured that funding, and yeah, how you've maybe built such a successful business over a short space of time.
Yeah, sure. So everything started with the three co-founders of CloudLock. When they exited Cisco, they decided to create like a startup hub. They call itself like FXP for exceptional founders, and their premise was to actually collaborate with other founders and create a couple of companies. We were actually the second company that they created, and their idea is that they wanted to create something very disruptive. So what we discovered, like from the past experience in Cisco, is that security is really hard to implement where you don't have the buy-in of the developers. At the end, like you had most of the product in cybersecurity are built for practitioner like security engineers, and they tend to kind of ignore a little bit like the experience at the end of the developers. And developers really feel that security is something that is not like in their realm, and it's like it's the neighbor's job. And so what we wanted to solve is actually the this field of like being able to really implement shift left security in a way that is meaningful. That's what we started. And the thing is, and that's actually a tip for all the founders, if you want a great check, you actually need to come up with a great vision and a big vision. If you're actually starting with something that is niche, you'll get a check at the like in the amount that is according to the side of the market. Because what we wanted is actually to attack the whole product security field, like from the developer side, and the developer market is really a big market. Then we actually came up with this big vision and got like a sizable check, like based on that. Also, of course, like we had like the FXP team that is like a team of experienced people that already got through one exit, and Aviram, which is a co-founder with me, that is also very experienced in the cybersecurity field for a couple of years. So of course, like the team also matters, but like it's a combination at the end of people, the ability to execute, and a really great vision that got us to this like really great raising.
Awesome. And I suppose because obviously that was like 3 years ago or so now, and you guys have still managed to stay kind of modern. And you obviously you built kind of the DevSecOps platform even before kind of the ASPM acronym really existed. You're a bit ahead of the curve. You were building something, I suppose, before people really realized that the demand was there. What has that journey looked like? And again, you obviously secured that funding. How have you been able to utilize that to, I suppose, really accelerate the success of JIT?
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. Basically, we started really with the AppSec part of product security, but we just wanted to add more and more coverage in order to be able to provide like really a comprehensive platform in terms of product security, and be able to integrate as much open source tools as possible in order to have like this unique picture of your security posture. It was actually like the definition of ASPM, application security posture management, before Gartner actually coined that. But we didn't know about that, and it was like more like the term of DevSecOps that was actually prominent there. But basically, the ASPM acronym is, let's put it like that. In terms of definition, it's everything you can scan, and that's actually not for me. It's a quote from James Bertotti that says that it's everything you can scan that is related to your product posture. So anything that is related to the way you're building a product, whether it's the code, it's infrastructure, it's the CI/CD, it's the runtime, everything that you can scan that at the end impacts the way the product is either built or run. That's basically the definition of the posture, and that's the application security posture that we're dealing with. And so, what was interesting in terms of journey is that we started with something that is very uncommon, ahead of the curve, but like like anything in cybersecurity, within like 3 years, we had like a lot of competitors already. And now, if you're looking at ASPM space, there may be like 10 companies, like everyone saying, I'm doing also ASPM. So that's really interesting.
No, absolutely, and I think kind of you kind of referenced a couple of things there, but in particular, the fact that you kind of widened the platform, you don't want to necessarily be in too much of a niche, and I know you touched base on that when it came to the funding securing as well. But I actually think one thing you guys have done really well is listen to the demand of the market and utilizing the modern technology that's out there, and everybody always talks about, and I always talk about how rapidly evolving cybersecurity is as a vertical and as an industry. But you guys truly embraced Gen AI, and I suppose really changed and redefined the way that R&D is working. It'd be interesting for you to maybe open up a little bit more about that, and how you were kind of, like I say, really embraced that technology that's, I suppose, just being able to, again, accelerate the success that you guys have had.
And so basically, like a couple of months ago, we started to kind of hear a different voice in the market. With the explosion of Gen AI and softwares like Cursor or Windsurf or Copilot, the ability to generate code now is actually like it's so fast, so much easier, that the amount of code that is generated, usually not secure by default, actually has gone through the roof. And so, if before the AppSec teams were kind of overwhelmed because they're kind of in small number compared to the number of developers, now they're really under the water. And so we figure out that there's something we need to do in our platform, and also offer something that is different to these teams, so that they can also be like the 10x engineers that they could be if they could leverage Gen AI. So what we decided is actually to do two things. One is to change the way we work internally. So we really embrace Gen AI internally, starting with engineering. We decided on a bright day to actually make all the engineers work on Cursor with vibe coding, but in a way that is secure, with guardrails, with support, with a lot of internal sessions that we did in order to help the engineers actually do the transition in a good way. In addition to that, we decided to actually hold a hackathon that would basically be some kind of an eye-opening moment for all the engineers to really understand like the benefit of that approach. And so during the hackathon, we actually picked 9 features that were really hard to do, that would take like weeks to actually implement. And basically, we decided to set up pairs of programmers and do the whole process of design, implementation, documentation, QA, and deployment in 3 days using only AI. And the result was really stunning, because we managed to really deploy all these 9 features in production within 3 days, and our customer were really thrilled, because those features were actually buried into our roadmap, and I'm not sure when they would actually be seeing the light of the day. In addition to that, our head of UX decided to teach Figma and started to also use Cursor to design the screens. And our head of product, VP product actually, decided also to leverage custom GPTs to create PRDs and really
Yeah.
reimagine the way we are building and delivering software. So that was really internally the way we embrace Gen AI. On the platform, we actually started to identify a lot of different parts of our platform. So we had a PR agent. Now we have a PR experience. Now it's a PR agent. So it's basically a holistic way of reviewing the code, where we're providing this capability of bringing intelligent context, so that developers can really understand exactly what they need to fix and why. And on the main platform, when we had this code to cloud coverage of the whole product security, we actually went and added agents that are
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
providing this risk assessment something that usually takes weeks and suddenly can be done like within a few minutes. So the way we're actually changing the platform is providing us with this ability to now have this 10x factor in terms of time saving for the AppSec teams.
Awesome. And I think kind of, that there's embracing it on the both sides, like you said, because I think to offer this solution to your customer and stuff is always really great. I think people often forget, actually, if you can really embrace this new technology internally, you are making your teams more effective. You're reducing kind of the time spent on the monotonous tasks that can be seamlessly automated, and it allows individuals to put their resource in the right direction where maybe you can't leverage Gen AI, or you just can't leverage kind of that a solution right now, and the people kind of are still very much needed in those roles. And you guys have been on an unbelievable journey, and I think to be able to have the fluidity that you've had in quite turbulent market, because let's be honest, the past 4 years haven't been easy. What do you think kind of you guys have done that have allowed you to stay agile and I suppose be in that position of, well, this is why we've been able to be successful so far? Because I think many startups and many businesses that have tried to scale over the past couple of years have probably found it quite challenging. And I imagine it'd be valuable to understand maybe what steps you've taken to help guarantee the success that you've had. Awesome.
Yeah, it's actually a great question. When I'm looking retrospectively to like our journey, and we definitely had like an ups and down like every startup. Like you always say, like being a founder is like being a roller coaster on a roller coaster. Is definitely like the case for us. We actually started a company during the COVID when the COVID pandemic started. So maybe not the greatest time to actually start a new company. But beside that, we had like a lot of convictions at the beginning into into what we want, like our mission statement, and the way we think we need to sell the product. So for example, we started the company as a PLG company, so product led growth company, and we thought that for a couple of years we actually focused on adoption, making sure that the design partners we were working with were actually very satisfied with the product, and then we'll be able to convert them. It's actually was not that easy, because like security and PLG are not like the best friends. So it's not that easy to actually build a security product that can be sold that way. And we actually switched to more PLS model. But the ability to constantly, have a critical look on what you're doing and try to optimize all the time is what allows you to actually stay alive. There's a lot of companies that start with some convictions at the beginning, and they stay with that no matter what, not necessarily validating enough with customers. And we had also some share of learnings that we actually took more time than what it should to actually implement the changes. So really being able to not stay with the same convictions from day one without a strong validation of the market until it gets to PMF, to product market fit, is one of the most important learnings that we had. Also, the ability to have a team that has the full context of what they're doing, so that they understand that you're not completely, pivoting every week or so, but it's actually part of something bigger, and you're actually adjusting all the time to be like more competitive, more differentiating, and actually closer to your customers, because you're listening to your customers. I think those are really strong ingredients in order to be able to survive in such a turbulent market, I would say.
But really great insight there, David. And I do think you use the right word. Turbulent is absolutely been what the market has really, I suppose, thrown those hurdles out there over the past couple of years. But we seem to be on an exciting trajectory right now. There's a lot more noise happening in the space, and I think this is the first year in quite a long time where the conferences, I see people are coming out of them pretty buzzing with what's happening, and the investment that's definitely coming back into the space, but more specifically the startup space. And I'm interested to close the podcast out on maybe what's next for you and the team at JIT, because obviously you've had a very successful journey so far, but there's still a long journey ahead and lots of exciting things I'm sure that's going to be kind of coming forward. So yeah, what kind of does the next, I suppose, 12, 18, 24 months look like for you guys?
Awesome question. I think that if you're thinking about like what we're living right now with AI is really transforming the world. If we're seeing a lot of movement right now, like a turbulent market and everything, that's also because there's a lot of excitement with the potential that AI brings to the market, to our daily life, and like the pace of innovation is like tremendous. Like like there a couple of months ago we didn't have like such strong models and frameworks, and like we're still in the infancy of what we can do. So I'm definitely looking forward to what this technology will allow us to do tomorrow, and definitely it will disrupt the way we work. So I would say that the companies that are not embracing it now will probably be deprecated tomorrow. Just like in the cloud age, the companies that actually like missed the revolution of the cloud were actually are not here today to talk about it. But I think it's even like 10 times what happened with the cloud, and you can see like the excitement all over the place. So I think that everyone needs actually to jump on the train now, and it's really hard to to catch up all the time with what's happening, but you should really spend time there, because I think that the companies that we know today will definitely be different in even like a couple of months from now. So I think that the security industry will be disrupted, and I'm super excited what's coming up next for sure.
No, absolutely. And I do think that there's definitely exciting times ahead. But thank you so much for coming on today, David. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, learning a little bit more about JIT. And yeah, to the audience, thank you for tuning in. I'm Katie, and this is where leaders talk about cybersecurity very much like it is and no fluff. I can't wait to see you all next week.
Thank you very much, everyone. And if you want to know more about JIT, don't hesitate to visit us on jit.io. Thank you very much.